Welcome, brothers and sisters. My name is Eros and I am the doll maker. Today we are discussing the festivity of Yule on a more intermediate level. So, we will take into consideration a couple of correspondences that are a little bit more advanced in regards on how we should behave in this festivity. We will take into consideration the animals that are most representative of this festivity. First of all, the moose. Always stoic and always going forward despite difficulties. And the next one is the fox, especially the Arctic fox. Always looking for opportunities, diving headfirst into the snow if necessary. So, these two extremely important respondences reminds us to always work in advance. We should be taking action now, preparing to plant if we want to reap the harvest in the spring, if you want, as a metaphorical analogy. So, we have worked on ourselves in the dark season, and now we should work on who we want to be. We should be observing the path going forward and preparing for the next journey now. So, what do I recommend to the more intermediate of you, those who already have a little bit of competence in the magical practice? I don't really want to say competence, but at least a little bit of experience. You should work with your covenant right now, or with your family if you ain't got a covenant, or with your true friends, or with your team if we are talking about a more working environment. And you should work to plan how to achieve respective success right now, moving forward. Especially using clear communication. And please do remember to always aim for a win-win situation with your family, with your friends, or with your team, of course. Then, remember that at this point of the year, at the beginning of the turn of the wheel, if we fail to prepare, we should be prepared to fail. Communication can open amazing perspectives for you if you are open-minded. Now, of course, I understand that some of us practice alone. In this case, you can rely on forums and communities to find these communication that we are looking for with other practitioners of the magical art. Now, if you want, of course, you can always write something down in the comments, or write me directly so we can have some sort of I don't want to say confrontation, but at least a dialogue to prepare for the next year. Just please do remind, if you already know everything and your way is the only way, please do never contact us. You are already perfect. We are students of the magical arts. If you are not perfect and we can actually have a dialogue, feel free to comment or write me directly, as we said before. So, talking about covenants. For your activities with your covenant, do remember that feasts are prominent in Yule, bonfire are prominent in Yule, and usually at least in our tradition. But I do understand that also in some northern tradition, there's the practice of preparing a Yule log, which is exactly what you think. A log decorated, dressed up for Yule. So usually using oranges or slices of oranges, apples or slices of apples, some little branches of evergreen, ribbons and strings. To prepare this decorative piece that should be burnt into the bonfire of Yule, of the celebration of Yule. Then, usually, at least in our tradition, the ash is conserved for operation of prosperity and sometimes protection. And the coal of coming from the log is kept for the next festivities going forward in the year to light again the fire. Please do remember that Queol Wheel is the original name of the festivity. Now, as always, please be careful when you light a bonfire, because I do understand that we all need a little bit more warmth in this cold season. But lighting yourself, or much worse, an entire forest on fire is a little bit too much. Now, for my brothers and sisters of a more hermetical approach that are in the hermetical practice, plan your path walking going forward this year. If you need guidance for your path walking, I will go for one or more of the great lords, like the guardian towers or the bringer of light. Walk with method, in a methodical way, to find order in your path. For my sisters and brothers with a more pagan approach, take example from nature in her ability to always resurrect herself, to be born anew, if you want. Honor the gods and goddesses of darkness for the path of introspection, for the dive into darkness, into our inner darkness that we just took in the previous year and in the previous festivity, but also honor the goddesses and gods of prosperity for the upcoming year, to bring yourself and your loved ones prosperity for the upcoming year. And I do mean make offering, especially of food, especially while being in nature. For my Christian brothers and sisters, more Christianic traditions, let's so to speak, remember that the cycle of the nativity every year is the resurrection of the sun, is symbolic of the resurrection of the sun, is symbolic of the eternal cycle of life, death, and resurrection in constant evolution, especially for your meditation. Now, for my sisters and brothers of the silver iris, we should all take meaningful action now. Taking meaningful action now is key for our path walking. Plan now and program the key steps for your path going forward. Now, we usually follow the 4 C's at this point. So, consult with your teacher, confront with your peers, and counsel your students if you are granted the luxury for students. Also, the 4th C is, of course, if you have been granted a marionette, commune with your marionette to find common objective while planning the path going forward. And of course, after the deep introspection of the season. For the brothers and sisters of the Crimson Cloak, confirm the teachings and the knowledge you have obtained at the apex of your power in the dark season. Ground and stabilize your power and the techniques that you've learned going toward the upcoming year. Coordinate with your silver moon for the upcoming common or different objectives, of course, if you have already been granted a silver moon. For sisters and brothers of the path of the dreamer, plan carefully your objectives, the steps of your astral journeys for these years. Always please do remember that no one journey is predictable or identical to one another, but being prepared and having a plan for your journeys maximize your opportunities going forward. Let what you've learned in the dark season open your eyes to the light. Then, for everyone at this point, do remember that in this season, walking with candles at this time frame, at this time point, is extremely important. So, walking with candles to venerate your deities, gods and goddesses, your marionette ancestors. Remember that for our ancestors, candles were pretty expensive, or at least very hard to make. So they were precious items. They were expensive items. So walk with your candles with respect. And working with candles at this time is important to remember how important, symbolically speaking, is the return of the light. So work hard to call back again the light. Work hard to, if you want, become the light that you want to be. Because for how much we have traveled into the darkness, our hard work and our thirst of knowledge can bring ourselves closer to the light. We can reach the light. Stealing after this dark period, stealing out of context the word of one of the greatest Italian poets of all times, if not the greatest, and thence we came forward to see again the stars. And I mean reaching the light that we want to shine from ourselves. Please do remember to meditate on who you want to be and start acting with meaningful actions right now accordingly. Now, if you want to get deeper into the rabbit hole, I will wait for you in the next video. Otherwise, as always, I deeply thank you for your kind attention and may eternal light shine upon you.